Hello and welcome to another episode of Dave Trippin. So, I had a pretty cool day today. You thought this was going to be useful information. It's just going to be a God-cursed vlog. No, just kidding. It'll be a bit of both. I'm going to talk about low-level students as well. But I think it's really, really cool. I go to an onsen now that's near my house. And at the onsen, I don't know what it was today, putting out the vibes or whatever, but I had about 3 different people at the onsen approach me and ask me if I could speak Japanese, which is really cool. I mean, you get that a little bit more, obviously you're a foreigner and stuff, but I feel like you gotta be putting out a good vibe or something for people to feel comfortable to do that, and I'm finally at the point, only took me like 3 years to reach this point, but I'm finally at the point where I know all the variations of do you speak Japanese, because they can say, do you understand Japanese? Do you speak Japanese? And then there's all these like 5 or 6 variations on how you might ask that question. So even when I was like past learning about one, it was so humbling when people would ask me this question in whatever variation and I wouldn't know what they were saying, because that's a good litmus test for where your ability is at. If people ask you if you can speak Japanese and you are not yet ready to say yes. But I was, it was cool, and I make a really strong point now. If somebody starts speaking, part of my practice is like your brain rebels against it. It tries to go back to your English, like test them with like a little bit of English, but I've really committed now, if they don't speak English or speak even like a mixed kind of Japanese English to me because they feel that would make me more comfortable, I do whatever I can to lock myself into that language. And it was good. I talked about some guy, once I told him where I was from, he was like, oh, I've been there like 3 times. He'd even been to the island that I was born on, which was pretty cool. And yeah, really, really friendly people generally. And then another guy, I was in one of the saunas and he started speaking English. So that's not so much the Japanese thing, but I think that's cool too. That's very brave. I know striking up a conversation in your second language when you're not an absolute pro at it can be quite intimidating. So I was like, oh, this is really cool. Forming bonds. And then there was like another guy that I met already who spoke to me, who wants to practice the English there. I'd run into him. And on my way out, he was coming in. So I was like, oh, I've only been going to this place for probably like 2.5 weeks, but I'm building these bridges. I'm building these cultural bridges, which is really, really cool. And if I can get out at any length of a Japanese conversation with people, I am still absolutely at that point that's a big deal for me. A lot of people would go far quicker than this. I'm not the best student in the world, but I am a student and I continue to learn. That's what's important. So that was good. That's a little preamble. Cool day for me. Yay, speaking in Japanese, meeting friendly people. But I was thinking about more the topic of the actual video, was low-level students in your classes, and really ways to think about them, because most teachers will not simply condemn a low-level student, but you might find it harder to be excited about them, and this of course would be a mistake, because low-level students are really, the more I was thinking about it, is your greatest opportunity to make an impact. Because more intelligent students who have an easier way to master the language, they don't need you. they need you far less than you need them to feel good about yourself. They're wonderful, and working with high-level students are fun because you do the smallest thing and they respond and improve. But they don't really need you that much. You are not, I think, at your best when you're coaching a student that really doesn't even need to be coached. And that's kind of the whole thing is, like I say, the impact that you can have on these low-level kids is so wonderful. And there's a big distinction to be made between low-level kids. There's low-level kids who don't want to learn. There's low-level kids who do want to learn, and there's low-level kids, of course, in this third very interesting category who don't know that they want to learn. And all of them are worth trying to get through to some extent, because some of the ones that even hate English, they've only been presented it in a way that would make them feel that way about it. And I think it's really cool. I've had some students in the new school that I'm at that I can tell that they're low level but it's incredibly fulfilling when I've gone over and I've spoken to them, and I can tell right away that it's more a result like I feel, because I struggle with second languages. Any of these low-level kids, I'm like, oh man, dude, like I get you, because that's me. Like I really struggle with learning the language. And like I say, it's a great opportunity, because even small progress to them as well means so much to them for their initial getting off the ground. Like when they couldn't get the simplest sentence, and then they can all of a sudden, where they could have never gotten any sort of grammatical structure, and you've made that difference for them. You've changed. Who's to say exactly what's going on in their mind? But I can tell when I've done something that maybe profound is too strong a word, but it's had a significant impact on them. Also, for the fact that whether we like to admit it or not, lower level students, it is our habit as teachers, as in social interactions that we have with our friends. It's harder to be social with people who are less socially capable. And so people who are less socially capable really appreciate it when you make that attempt to be so. Just like these kids can often be neglected because you don't get that. You as the teacher don't get the immediate, what is it called? You don't get the instant gratification of their success. It can be very frustrating as a teacher to work with a student who is much slower, because it makes you feel as though your efforts as a teacher are futile. Because no matter what you do, this little shithead won't learn. But that's of course, he or she is not a little shithead. But this is the frustration that we battle with when we're with lower level students. So if you show them that time of day, every single way in which you interact with a low level student magnifies the teaching experience, we'll call it, and is really worth it and really rewarding. And it's almost a cautionary tale as well, as I say, that it's so much easier to spend time with students who are going to succeed that much more quickly, because it really feeds our ego that much more quickly as well. But like I say, all these things, without extending the video into repetition, the impact you will have will be more significant. The impact that you will have with them will be more varied. Be that because you're paying attention to a student who doesn't get as much attention because they're not so easy to teach. Be that they make a breakthrough that they would never normally have made. Be that they appreciate the breakthrough that much more because they don't so usually get to make large amounts of progress. So low-level students, don't shy away from them, search them out, and they can be one of the best experiences you have while teaching, and maybe some of the best relationships you form at the school. So that's my thoughts on low-level students. I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, why not like the video? If you don't, that's okay too. It's a free world so far. If you'd like to subscribe, I appreciate that as well. If you'd like to check out my gaming channel, it's right there, The Great Owl. I'm going to get tonight. I figured out what I'm going to play. I'm going to play, I believe it's called Heavy Rain, and it's recently being released on the PlayStation 4. So I'm excited for that. Just the sort of Let's Play I'd get into. Good writing, interesting storyline, darker themes. Anyways, nerd. And aside from that, thanks so much for checking out the video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm thinking tomorrow, because I have some time, I'm gonna go check out the local park near myself. It's supposed to rain, but maybe that creates a kind of unique beauty. All right, peace.